Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Hall of Fame show where clearly I'm in a hotel because the fine people at Not in Hall of Fame have not put me in our official place.
Mm,
Right, Evan?
yeah, absolutely. Our official place is a Hall of Fame somewhere, I think.
Somewhere, yes. Either it's Chicago, Seattle, Schaumburg, somewhere in between, maybe Montana. That might work. And
Yeah,
But I'm Kirk Buchner along with Evan Nolan. We are the people who talk about Hall of Fame stuff every week. Well,
crazy.
not every week, but we should do this every week.
Well, we've been a little busy. There've been stuff going on. You've been moving countries for the second time since we started this podcast.
Yeah. Moving countries, moving time zones.
Time zones, which is nice because you're less likely to fall asleep at 8 o'clock at night as you were at 10 o'clock at night. So
Well, especially when I was in Atlantic time zone.
yeah, oh yeah, that's the worst. Sorry.
Yeah, when it was like oh God, when like for that brief point where for 6 months I was 2 hours ahead of you.
Yeah.
That was always not fun, especially usually if I had a beer in hand. But anywho, uh, yeah, so we've got this is a pretty big show for us. This is where we are reacting to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I'll be blunt here, Evan. I didn't watch the show American Idol because I don't watch American Idol.
I don't either, but I did see like the I don't know, 2 minutes they took to announce everything with the three mispronunciations. So
Oh,
I
so because I read that it was done by Lionel Richie, who is at least a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee. So good on them for that. So
yeah,
he mispronounced some people.
no, it wasn't Lionel Richie. It was Seacrest
Uh,
mispronounced. The woman who won the Ertigan Award, whose name is just out of my head at the moment.
okay. Well, I mean, it sounds like something Seacrest would do.
It does. So
Um,
anyway,
I guess we'll get right to that. And for those sort of like looking for me to do my elevator is going to be doing this as we go. So I think with each one of these, Evan and I will sort of like decide who is an elevator up based on every induction. And I think each person who got, or each band who got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame will sort of like help somebody reach that next level.
correct. Yeah, and I will say going into this, we made our predictions before.
Oh, I won a beer, by the way.
Did you?
You said Lenny was going to get in, and I said he
Oh,
wasn't.
I did say Lenny. Lenny was the only member of the top seven of the fan vote who did not get in.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, I originally made,
Yeah, am I down only one at this point?
I think so. I know. That's good.
Yeah, I figured because like we're going to be seeing each other probably in Canton for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
That's the
I
idea.
Yeah, I'm doing so much better. I mean, I thought I was going to buy you a brewery. I was doing so bad.
Yeah, that was years ago. So yeah,
Yeah,
but we
that was years and countries and time zones
it,
ago.
it was.
Yeah.
I made 15 predictions originally for my for who I thought was getting in. Five of them were on the ballot. Four of those five got in. So I feel a little bit good about that, I suppose. Compared.
Yeah, I mean the Rock Hall is such a mess in so many ways. Before we sort of go into it, I just want to say like I I will give them credit at least for sort of like doing this at night, doing this at a time when people knew when it was going to happen. Saying that American Idol, like, come on, it's the most manufactured. So was Kelly Clarkson an elevator up? I like Kelly, by the way, but
Yeah, I mean I'll say this. It's an awfully boomer centric uh, class to be announced on American Idol.
yeah, I also like I didn't see it, but I just because I it's part of the I'm guessing American Idol's on ABC.
Sure.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I don't know because like I've been watching a lot of ESPN hockey, so like
Mhm.
all the promo for it's like and Gene Simmons is going to announce. Oh well, he didn't, but
Right.
Like
Yeah,
Gene Simmons having anything to do with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is hysterical, considering how much they didn't want him in.
yeah, that's so true. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like they wear it that way with Foreigner as well, but we'll get to all those folks as they get in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do you want to start the list because there's a lot that we probably
Yeah, we'll do that. So I guess I have this alphabetically. I don't know if you want to, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Alphabetically by well, it may my alphabetical, your alphabetical may be different because it
That
depends what
might
your
be.
last
That
name,
that,
whatever.
that might be. Well, yeah, because I've got Tribe first.
Yeah, I had a Tribe Called Quest first.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So a Tribe Called Quest, I did not see them getting in. Uh, I would have lost a beer to you had that we went that way. I'm happy they're in. Uh, Saying that, I don't know that they necessarily should have been nominated. I guess they got Eric B and Rakim's spot.
But Eric B and Rakim don't have a spot. Well, Eric B and Rakim do have a spot. They'll get in next year as musical excellence.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Which is
mean,
basically the Hall of Fame's way of saying, all right, here are the people that we want in, but our voters, who we won't tell you who they are, don't put in.
yeah. So Eric B and Rakim, not in. Well, I mean, I'll just say it now. MC5 got in under musical excellence. MC5 spot next year is going to Eric B and Rakim.
Yeah.
Just is.
So who does this help the most? I mean,
Well, first of all, I agree with you.
hmm?
This is of all the people who were elected, Tribe is the biggest surprise of the ones who got directly put in. And this is one of those ones where now that we had 7 votes, and we have
Mhm.
9. We have 9 of these folks, 8 of these folks. How many got in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 of the 15 got in. This kind of feels like, remember last year when we said we were surprised Rage Against the Machine got in because they put more in? I kind of feel they got down low enough to make sure that Tribe got in because they
Yeah,
don't want to go a year without hip hop at this point. There's just too big a backlog, and as much as certain political views have trouble with hip hop being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in general,
sure.
they're it's not going away. So Tribe getting out of the way is, in my opinion, opens the door for 3 folks or 3 groups altogether. First one is Wu Tang.
Yes. Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I kind of felt like Wu Tang should have been before Tribe anyway. Like in the not in terms that they're competing, but we're gonna get to this a lot going forward. Like I kind of feel like some of these people who are on the ballot and then people who are elected were kind of out of order for how they should go.
Mm-hmm.
And Wu Tang to me seems like they should come before Tribe. Now Tribe's in. Wu Tang is clearly next if we're going with the group. The next one I feel like it helps is Snoop.
Mm-hmm.
Because these folks are out of the way, and Snoop is a pretty easy, that would be an easy vote for people to get to have go in. And the final one, I think this helps, and this is was one of my predictions for who would be on the ballot this year, is Outkast. I think Outkast, this also helps. I kind of feel like Wu Tang and Outkast are the next 2 hip hop, at least hip hop groups are who are going to be in there. I know Outkast is not the same as Wu Tang, but they're at least in the same. They're on the same radio station.
They're not even the same as Tribe.
True.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm with you here. I'm huge on Wu Tang, as you know,
Right.
being part of the Rock Hall. Uh, I'll throw another one at you at the Roots.
So here's the thing about the Roots, and I think that I wonder. I really think the Roots are a deserving group.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how much them being a TV band at this point
Kills them. Yes, I agree.
kills them. And also, I don't think Questlove wants that. And
Well,
he's one of the principal people in the nominating.
neither did Tom Morello.
True. True. Who keeps pushing another band that's going out of order and didn't get in. We'll get to it in a second.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm totally with you. It's like I remember as a kid thinking Paul Schaefer's a goof, and then you
Yeah.
learn about everything, this entire house band and everything that they actually did.
Yeah. Yeah. So interestingly, by the way, Tribe was 14th out of 15 on the fan vote.
Mm,
So, and I think if we're going alphabetically, 13th comes next.
Cher.
Oh no, that's what I had next. Okay.
Okay.
I was going to say it all depends on how we're doing stuff. My guess is that you're going first name for that.
Sorry, winning what's up? Gypsies, tramps, and thieves.
It's all we can sing, both for copyright reasons and for the ears of our listeners' reasons. Before we came on, the reason we were laughing when we first came on is that first of all, his dog was getting away, but second of all, his wife was less than impressed with our vocal skills.
Oh, she's still here. So, hun, what do you think of her singing? She's just shaking her head.
Yeah, she doesn't want. She knows better than to get her voice on this podcast. So Cher was a slam dunk.
Oh my God, yeah.
Slam dunk.
I'm gonna throw I like conspiracy theories, not as much as Aaron Rodgers apparently, but
hey, at least the Jets didn't draft quarterback in the first round, so they got that going for them.
I have to watch that after. But
I actually like what the Jets did, which is a bad sign. So,
well, it's funny. I talk about conspiracy theories. Those listening didn't see Evan sort of like slam like a green drink, whatever that might be.
I just had it. It's right here.
There you go. Yeah.
Green River with an additive for those Midwesterners out there. It's one of the greatest things about the Midwest.
Green River. Longer in the Midwest.
I'll have to bring some to Canton in a cooler just for you.
There you go. I appreciate it. So let me throw my conspiracy theory at you. Well, not so much this. So Cher's on the Kelly Clarkson show, and I like Kelly as a person. Musically, but I think she's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So she's on the Kelly Clarkson show 6 months ago, and we talked about it, and I said, like, bang, she's now in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because she slammed it.
Yeah.
Now,
you did say that. 100% you said that.
Yeah, so there you go. That is me being a Nostra dumbass here, right here, with that. But
it's French. It's Dumas. So
Nostra Dumas.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah. So who do you think Cher helps get in?
But before that, though, I mean, because like when they do these 10-minute interviews, obviously, well, not obviously, but Kelly knew what to ask.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think maybe it was sort of like a softball in some capacity?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like whether she knew, because I do legit believe that Kelly Clarkson has no clue what's going on in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Why would she? Cher, however,
she's the most successful thing ever to come out of American Idol. So
sure, but right, but I mean, like, why would she necessarily know about that? It's not in her radar. Cher, however, you got to figure that she's
rough.
Yeah. Jasper's got a bunch to say. Follow Jasper on Instagram, Jasper _ the friendly corgi. Was this before or after Young Leonard sort of like had his fall from?
I don't
remember either.
It's not that far from the same time.
Yeah, I can't recall whether it was at that point or not. Yeah. So,
but she's always been one of those people. Like when Willie Nelson came up last year, Willie Nelson's getting in. When Dolly Parton came up, Dolly Parton's getting in.
Right.
Cher is just the next one of those.
Well, we got a few of these, right?
What?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear you.
No, we have a few of those who like the first time nominees, long time eligible.
Tina Turner was one.
Right, right.
Carly Simon was one.
Hmm.
Like there's still a few of them left. Diana Ross is a solo
I was
artist.
gonna say,
I've been nominated.
because you were gonna ask me like, who is the most, who's this help most, and that's your girl. You've been since you and I first started talking. You've been on the Diana Ross train
Yeah,
for
I
a
mean,
long time.
she's my number two project at this point. I mean, Tina was always number one. Without she needed to be in without Ike.
So she's your number
But
two. Is your number one now?
and at least Diana Ross is in the Rock Hall. Patti LaBelle is not
Oh,
anywhere
okay, okay,
near the
that's
Rock
right. Yeah,
Hall.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I actually think someone who got in on musical excellence is going to help her more, Patti LaBelle, more than this.
yeah. Okay, I know who you're going with. Yeah.
Can I just say it since we're here?
Go ahead.
Because I feel it ties in with Cher anyway,
Mhm.
which is Dionne Warwick. I feel like Dionne Warwick getting in through musical excellence, which is a great way, by the way. Dionne Warwick 100% deserves to be Rock Hall of Fame, and they're having trouble getting her in, and she's what, 83 years old, something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I'll go look that up. But that is exactly Dionne Warwick is 83 years old. Bang. No. Yes, 83. Um, I forgot what year it was. She was born in 1940, and I forgot what year it was. Her birthday's in December. But yeah, she deserves to be in, and that clears the way a little bit for someone like Patti LaBelle. I think Cher clears it for Diana Ross, but Dionne Warwick clears it for Patti LaBelle, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it totally does. Cher, who said that she would never sort of accept it. We know she's accepting it,
Of course she is.
just like she didn't move to Canada when a certain
She,
person became president.
she found out Justin Bieber still lived there, so um, uh, so yeah, I mean, good
Wait,
for Cher. Good for
wait,
Cher.
doesn't
She's 100% going.
oh,
And yeah, I mean that was the easiest slam dunk of this whole entire list. So
oh yeah, absolutely. And congrats to her. I've talked about this one. You're more of a fan than I am. Dave Matthews Band. I'm not a jam guy. Maybe because I haven't seen them live. You have
I've seen him live 3 times,
three
but
times.
I don't go to concerts all that often
Yeah.
because I have kids and I haven't really. I've never been a massive go to concerts person,
Mhm.
but I was also a teenage boy in 1995, so of course I've seen Dave Matthews multiple times.
Yeah.
Um,
At that time, I was a teenage dirtbag baby. But anyway,
yeah, Wheatus, like, very very good,
thank
very
you,
good comeback.
thank you.
Christina Ricci in that music video.
But this
But
also
yeah,
was not a surprise. Second time
no,
on.
he's been playing nice with the committee. He was up on stage last year. He's a friend of everybody. Uh, uh, yeah, he's a friend of everybody. I'm not surprised. I was listening to the Who Cares About the Rock Hall podcast, who does a really good job. Again, I will plug them all the time. They do great work.
Do they
They're
plug
talking about
us?
what?
Do they plug us, or are we even on the radar?
I don't think we're on their radar,
Nah.
but I just like listening to their stuff. And uh, one of them actually just got his vote for the Rock Hall, so we know he's a voter this
Huh.
year. Um, but their thing was that Dave Matthews Band just seems like it's out of order. Like, like there
Oh,
are other bands who Dave Matthews Band getting in um, is fine, but there should have been other people getting in first, and I understand that. I don't think this is out of order. As someone who didn't get in Jane's Addiction, I still understand why Jane's Addiction is our next choice for alternative music, because we had no alternative folks at all. This is very boomer heavy with a couple of um, R&B things.
yeah, yeah. I would have the Pumpkins and
Oh, right.
Sonic
Yeah.
Youth.
Sonic Youth.
I'm huge on Sonic Youth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sonic Youth, Soundgarden, I know has been nominated
Mhm.
before. Um, uh, but yeah, the Pumpkins are actually probably the one that makes the most sense to me. like Jane's Addiction will get in, but you have to get other groups in first before Jane's Addiction gets in, right? Like you couldn't go with Iron Maiden before you had Black Sabbath. As great as Iron Maiden is, Black Sabbath had to be in first, if that makes sense.
No, no,
Um,
it makes total sense.
so there's sort of an order of these things, and their thing was Dave Matthews was out of order here. My thing is, I just don't know
Well,
who
wait a minute. Who do they have Dave Matthews in that crew with?
they didn't really have anyone. It was just sort of like
Oh,
there's a whole bunch of '90s groups who you'd think of first before Dave.
where
But
they
then
have really?
the only other jam band that's really out there that's really into Dinosaur Jr.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
is Fish,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and I feel like Dave helps Fish more
Mhm.
than anything. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not surprised. It does seem a little bit weird with the bands we don't have, like Weezer, for example. Like, who had more impact on music, Weezer or Dave? I think
Or
it's
Beck.
Weezer
I mean, I was just
or
listening.
Beck.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I just like coming back from Vancouver, coming back to Vancouver to Seattle, man. I'm listening to a Beck album as I'm driving.
Which one?
Huh?
Which
The,
one?
I don't remember
Oh,
the debut.
oh okay. Odelay.
That's the one. Yeah,
Yeah, I had Guero in the other day, so I was just wondering.
yeah, yeah. So
Um,
you know, it's interesting. I don't have necessarily like. I'm not a Dave guy, but I get it if that makes sense.
yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I think Beck's a very good choice. Um, yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but I think going back to our premise on this,
Mhm.
that the band helped most by them getting in is Fish. Do you have anyone better than Fish?
No, no, that's exactly who I was thinking.
And I mean, maybe it puts that, like I said, I brought Dinosaur Jr., who I don't think is ever going to get, but
Yeah,
maybe it brings Dinosaur Jr. into some sort of thing. Poi Dog Pondering, like we're getting way down
yeah.
on the list there. I just don't feel like jam bands are a ton of them that are ever going to see.
We're really fishing
Mm.
for that.
Yeah, Poi Dog Pondering's a weird band that started in Hawaii, then moved to Texas, and is like, now we're moving to Chicago. That's our place. They went from Hawaii to Chicago willingly. So
Well, following that, do you want to know what love is? And can you show me?
I want you to show me. Yeah, Foreigner.
Foreigner. Foreigner, which is basically the fuck you, Jan Wenner.
Yeah, they have what 14 top 40 hits. Um,
Yeah.
like this is one of those bands that had they been doing their job previously should have been in already.
You know, but it fits a whole lot of what we've seen before. Arena band, late 70s, early 80s, finally gets on the ballot, inducted, like
Yeah.
Chicago. Uh,
Yep.
What's another one I'm thinking? Uh,
Duran
Journey,
Duran.
Journey, no, Journey.
No, Journey. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Journey. Well, Kiss was one
Uh,
too. When Kiss
Kiss.
finally got on.
Well, yeah, but Kiss was nominated before
That's true.
yeah. Uh, so I'm looking at this and going back to the elevator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boston.
Yeah. Boston is a pretty obvious one at this
Hmm.
point. Maybe they revive Jay Giles band again.
But is that a Jan project?
Maybe. I mean,
No.
actually, honestly, Jay Giles band's another one I was thinking of getting in with the musical excellence category here.
Yeah, but he's not. But you got to. I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm wondering is Jay Guile something that Jan kept pushing? It's like, are you kidding me? You didn't vote for,
Yeah.
and now he can't sort of like say slap this in.
Yeah. I
I
don't know.
don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, Boston is the obvious
To me,
beneficiary of this. Um, maybe, I mean, I'm trying to think. Like we've seen Steppenwolf before. I don't know if they benefit from Journey getting in very much. in a weird way, maybe Motley Crue,
Oh,
um,
okay.
who we've never seen nominated. We've always said because they went through the whole Guns N' Roses, and we got all like them all in one at a time, Def Leppard, and kept going down and down and down. We got to Motley Crue and stopped. We just never got Motley Crue.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm wondering if Motley Crue seems like another one of those ones they Jan would have maybe kept out, and they're an arena band who we haven't seen yet. I know it's not. I'm not saying Foreigner and Motley Crue are the same in any way,
No,
shape,
of course not. Yeah.
other than arena bands we haven't seen on the ballot before.
Mhm.
So maybe in a weird way, Motley Crue is something, someone out there who I like. See another. Well, the other ones who are going to come up. There's someone who I've never understood is not here yet. Well, there are a few, but there's one who I'm trying to figure out when we're going to see him coming up here. But we'll get there in a second. So
Okay. So I think I could be mistaken here, but I think somebody who you're probably or a group that you're the most happy about that got in, Cool in the Gang.
yeah, I mean that's another one that should have been in forever ago. Like my kids are 9 and 11, and they know multiple Cool in the Gang songs, and I do not own any Cool in the Gang albums. Like they just know them on their own from TikTok and everything else.
Okay, first off, your kids don't know what an album is.
Also, well, they do know an album is because we've been through
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Oh, well, good on you for your parenting skills.
yes, no, they know what an album is.
Yeah.
And by the way, rest in peace, TikTok, I suppose. Um,
Did you not see my post?
I did not see your post. Sorry.
Okay, I said that the death of TikTok is going to hurt secondhand burrito the most because he's
Oh no, that I did see. I'm just too I'm
you're too cool for
too
school.
cool to, I want you to talk about me, not me talk about me.
I
Uh,
want you to
talk
want
about me.
me.
Yes. Also in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
Yeah.
on their first shot, Rockford's most famous band. By the way, have you ever listened to another? I'm going to plug someone else's podcast. You ever watch Professor of Rock?
Yes, I have.
His thing on I Want You to Want Me.
Mhm.
Uh, they basically Cheap Trick was basically bankrupt, but they heard that they were big in Japan, so they scraped together money to do a Japanese tour, and like
Really?
they were $1 million in debt in 1976, which is equivalent to being $4 million of debt now.
Hmm.
And they got off the plane in Japan, and there were 5,000 people waiting for them to get off the plane at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was like they're the Beatles.
Oh,
Uh, and they just went from like thinking they were going to fail as a band to being like the biggest thing in Japan. Their version of "I Want You to Want Me" you hear on the radio all the time with going, "I want you to want me," where he says it real slow at the beginning, is because he's in Japan and was told to say it slowly so that people could understand him.
okay. I gotta watch that.
Oh, that one is awesome. Like all of this stuff is awesome. That one is especially awesome. The one
You know, apparently though, that's Jeffrey Epstein's favorite band.
yeah,
No,
true.
no.
His conviction got overturned today. Not Jeffrey Epstein. The other one, the terrible one from Hollywood.
Uh,
Uh,
I'm doing a bit here, so
oh, I'm sorry.
yeah,
My bad. I
yeah.
didn't know you had a Jeffrey Epstein bit.
I just thought of it. I just thought of it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It was Jeffrey Epstein's favorite band. Diddle I, diddle I, diddle
Oh,
I.
boy. I'm sorry. I'm actually not sorry I cut you off previously. Wow. Yeah. So going back to
Sorry,
Foreigner. Oh no, we're not on Foreigner.
we're cool.
We're on Cool in the Gang.
Yeah, yeah. Did
Let's
you say
actually
that
go to them.
there's only like one person left?
Yeah, just cool. All the gangs
Yeah.
all day. So it's great to see them get in. This is kind of the spinners category in a
Mhm.
way.
Yeah.
Who does Cool help?
Commodores.
Commodores are an obvious one.
That's it. That's really the only one I can sort of think of. Ohio players, if I really want to go deep, like in a deep cut.
Maybe. I mean, that's also the name of the new album by the Black Keys. Is the Ohio Players, is the name of their new album.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And their new tour is a Worldwide Players Tour, is what they're going under.
All right, go check that out.
But I'm trying to think if there are any others I can think of. I mean, maybe LaBelle.
Maybe.
I'm just looking for ways to get Patty LaBelle in at this point. Um,
Yeah,
so
I saw that fish hook there going, but still.
yeah, I think the Commodores are the obvious
Yeah.
fisheries of Cool and Gang getting in.
But no, it was really nice to see them again, first time, long time.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige.
Yep, number 13. That's what I had before because Blige came after A Tribe Called Quest.
Okay, yeah, I'm just doing up by
yeah, I got
first
it.
names. Yeah. Um yeah, I don't know.
I remember when she was nominated last time. I said I thought she had a decent shot of getting in just because of her. She didn't last time
Yeah.
because of her standing as a semi-strangely gay icon, despite the fact she's not gay. But
I was gonna say like what she's gay, and then
she's not.
You
It's just within the community.
I did not know that.
But she's clearly an incredibly talented person, incredibly dominant in the music industry, very responsible for the way music went, absolutely deserving of this honor.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing bad to say about Mary J. Blige getting it.
No, same.
Who does this help though?
Queen Latifah.
That's it, right?
Uh,
TLC and Vogue.
Erica Badu.
Erica Badu is an interesting one, actually. Yeah. Actually, Erica Badu may not exactly the same, but Erica Badu is exactly the type of person they nominate. So,
yeah. All right. So somebody, I guess we'll continue. Ozzy. When he was nominated, it's like, okay, lock. They're gonna put him in. When we talked last week, because I wasn't following what the Rock Hall voters were doing, like at the online. I thought for sure Ozzy was first, which he wasn't. But
Ozzy is apparently not doing well. He's cut back on a whole bunch of dates. The way they were talking about it on Who Cares About the Rock Hall is that this may sort of be his going away final performance at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay.
So it was interesting when he was interviewed about it. He brought up, he asked if Mariah Carey got in, and they told him no. And he said, that's ridiculous. She should be in, which was, again, one of my favorite things about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is, who cares about who? Like, I still flabbergasted by Joey Ramone calling Jan Wenner from his deathbed and demanding that they induct Cat Stevens.
I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of my favorite stories of all time. Just like how are you keeping Cat Stevens out of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
This kind of seems like that. So that was interesting. And I know Mariah not getting in is a whole other story we can get to at the end here. But he also brought up as somebody who he thinks should get in Motorhead. And so Motorhead getting the Ozzy bump, and particularly if Ozzy's not here, is probably the biggest beneficiary of this. I will say an interesting one, which is why someone I've been trying to figure out how they can get in. It's going to be funny because I brought this up last year when George Michael got in. I'm also bringing the same name up with Ozzy Osbourne getting in. And what's the midpoint between George Michael and Ozzy Osbourne?
Andrew Ridgely.
Yeah, funny. Billy Idol.
Hold on. Nice day for I can't do that damn thing.
Thank God. But no, but Billy Idol, I'm trying to figure out how he's getting in because at this point, I don't see what you could possibly be keeping him out with. So I think that he is also, if we're going to do solo artist, rock star, overlooked, not nominated, again, there's an order here. Iggy Pop would be somebody else, but you can't put Iggy Pop in before Billy Idol.
Yeah, but Iggy Pop's already in, so like there's no reason.
Yeah, I get it.
No.
But Billy Idol is the one who I feel has got to be next from the solo artists in that area. But clearly this helps. This helps Motorhead. This probably helps on a certain level groups like Pantera.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else you got on that list?
Well, I know that was Night Ranger's favorite band, Motorhead. What? Not aged myself enough.
Does that help Iron Maiden?
I don't know. I mean, like Iron Maiden, I have to assume that that's a band that when we're looking at what the voters do, they probably are not voting for them. As
Yeah.
well as we're going to get to the musical excellence, right? So,
Yeah. The musical excellence is an interest category this year. We'll get to that later.
Well, the musical excellence is again essentially here are the people that we don't think that they will actually vote for.
Correct.
You know, it's I'm trying to think like what would be the sports equivalent of that?
I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah, musical influence. I'm not also sure the difference between musical influence and musical excellence. There doesn't seem to be much of a denomination there, other than they put way too many people in from them this year. Not that I have any trouble necessarily with any of them getting in individually, but
no, but we don't know how they come up with it. We don't know who's part of it.
right.
It really feels like
I'm pretty sure the musical influence award is basically Eric Clapton. So I'll get to why when we get there.
Okay. America. Sorry.
All right. The impressions.
Yeah, no more impressions. I'll stop that. There's one more nominee or inductee. Somebody I never would have thought ever would have had a shot, but again, first time, long time. Peter Frampton.
Yeah, this is the lightest resume of anybody getting in.
Well, go to your thing, right? It's like it's a live album.
Yeah, it's definitely the lightest resume of anyone getting in, but he's played along with everybody else. He's another guy in his 70s. He's what, 73?
Mm-hmm.
We have a whole bunch of those folks. I'm not, as soon as we saw him here, we knew because he's played the game that he's probably getting in. I'm not shocked by this. It's fine.
All right, so you and I are both Simpsons aficionados for the 1st 10 years.
Yeah.
I think like a lot of people have what that's still on, but I remember
apparently this last week's episode was fantastic. They killed off one of the background characters and then did a whole thing about him.
Which one?
No, Larry, the guy who always just sits at the bar, who always looks sad with the hair part in the middle.
Oh, okay. Well,
like he's never actually talked in the whole thing, and they did a whole thing about how he died, and he said that the guys at the bar were his best friend, but they knew nothing about him. It was an interesting episode from what I heard. I got to go watch it. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, he probably won't. But so it was where Homer becomes part of like Lollapalooza or whatever that is, or that thing. So it's the Smashing Pumpkins, Cypress Hill, might have been Sonic Youth. I don't remember, but Frampton comes on and says like, or no, actually no. Homer comes up and says, "Remember, don't trust anybody over 30." And here's Peter Frampton. Frampton's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the rest of them are not. It sort of like feels like that Homer at the Bat episode, you know, where all these players are not in the hall.
Yeah,
and I think if I were to talk to young Evan and say, "Hey, who's going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?" Peter Frampton or Smashing Pumpkins first, and you
I'd
would.
probably say Peter Frampton because he's probably friends with everybody, but
Okay, well then fine. Screw me. What do I know?
Peter Frampton or Phil Collins. That would have been Phil Collins any day. Yeah. I also still think of High Fidelity, where they make fun of Peter Frampton. And yet, times have changed greatly from 1997.
Mhm.
So Peter Frampton. Um, so, yeah, but I mean, I'm not surprised he's in. This helps Jethro Tull.
Jethro Tull should have been in a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think who, because at this point, like, I'm trying to think of,
Sitting on a park bench.
yeah, I'm trying to think like who's sort of similar musically, but also he's kind of in the singer songwriter spot. Frampton is. So Phil Collins may actually be a beneficiary of this.
He
Just
can't play anymore. So, man, maybe.
maybe, but like Phil
But he's
Collins,
already in.
yeah, but so is who's so is Peter Gabriel on Twice.
Yep. Peter, don't compare Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins. Please don't do that.
Fine, cool. I'm just saying.
And the gang. All right.
Uh, my point is though, Phil Collins's resume is significantly better than Peter Frampton's, even if he did sing Susu Studio. So, which is one of the worst songs of all time.
I agree.
But
what is this studio?
I don't know. I still don't know. So yeah, I don't know who Frampton helps necessarily. Do you have anyone in particular?
No.
Yeah,
No.
Warren Zevon, weirdly. Because I'm just thinking of like the singer-songwriter part, right? That's where we're looking. Like, does this help Gordon Lightfoot? Right? Like a singer-songwriter who's got a more talent and much bigger history than Peter Frampton, but's
Man,
Canadian and dead.
if only
So
Gordon Lightfoot did like an album in Japan.
mm.
Oh, say, can you see?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Gordon Lightfoot, but I don't think he's ever getting in.
Same.
So I don't know who Frampton helps other than some other singer songwriter somewhere who we may not have thought of. Who Chris Christopherson? I'm stretching here for like who.
No, I got nothing. All right. So the names that they didn't pick who were nominated, as we mentioned before, Eric B. and Rakim, who you think will be,
They'll be in next year in the MC5 spot.
yeah, Jane's Addiction,
I
who
don't know
again,
what they're gonna do with Jane's Addiction. The whole like last year they nominated Soundgarden and Soundgarden didn't get in. The year before that they nominated Beck and Beck didn't get in. Like I don't know what they're going to do with the alternative music thing because they can't get any of those folks in. Like Soundgarden's nominated in 2020, didn't get in. Like I don't
yeah,
know.
same.
So
Well,
yeah,
Lenny Kravitz, who got me a beer,
he did.
minus one.
Yeah, Lenny Kravitz, I'm shocked he didn't get it.
I guess I'm not.
African American rock star. Again, not the thickest book of hits and everything, but played the game. Seems like a rock star.
Well, but okay, let's go to the game. So you're playing the game to get nominated, but now you have a completely different body. Who's
a body who elects Mary J. Blige and Peter Frampton at the same time.
well, but it's different, right? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
I guess that's
yeah,
true.
yeah. So I
Um,
mean, there's something to that, which is why they have their backdoor entries.
yeah. Yeah.
Mariah Carey, who I'm glad we didn't bet because I would have lost that beer that I won
Mm.
because I thought she was a lock and I was wrong. Oasis, who I'm huge on, no, I think has to be there, but they're not. But whatever.
They're not. I'm not that surprised Oasis isn't in, just given who hasn't gotten in recently. Um, and the fact that they don't get along and they don't want the drama and everything else.
Okay,
So
but we're going back to what the voter would think. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, like, if I was a voter, I would. You have them, and then you have to then right after Blur, Pulp. I mean, like, there's so many.
yeah,
To me, that's a British backlog. Oh shit, that would be a great band name.
British backlog.
That's actually what Evan and I sort of like are doing when we're not Daft Punk. We're British
British
backlog,
backlog. There we go.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, Sade, which we knew was had no shot.
Yeah, long shot. I wouldn't be surprised to see her again though shortly.
Yeah, and Sinead, which like, thanks, she's dead. Speaking of which, so there's like four people they put in for the musical excellence. Uh,
I'm sorry. So the one I think you're going to bring up, since he also passed
Go
away.
ahead.
So two things about this.
Yeah.
One, Jimmy Buffett, if they had just put him on the ballot, would have been elected.
Hmm.
So let's just get that out there. Or they did this year, next year, whatever, he just would have been elected. So it's
Yeah.
dumb putting him in this way. That said, there's a lot of things you could say about Jimmy Buffett. I'm not sure musical excellence is something that gets covered. And I love Jimmy Buffett. Like I love a lot of his songs. I love Thins. I love like even like grapefruit, juicy fruit. Like I love a whole bunch of his songs. So I would chill out. I have no problem with listening to Jimmy Buffett. But he's not doing anything lyrically or musically complicated. I'm not sure like strumming a guitar in Key West is necessarily that excellent. You know what I mean? So this is a weird place for Jimmy Buffett. And I'm going to say this now, I haven't brought up before. We have 16 people who are going in, right?
Hmm.
Save Jimmy Buffett for a time where you have fewer people.
Also, too, when it's not obvious.
Yeah. Like if they'd done Jimmy Buffett next year, he would have just gotten in. Why waste a spot here? I'm gonna have something else to say about the other side of this in a second, but Jimmy Buffett 100% deserves to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Should he gone in the front door? Yes. Why they did it this way, I don't get. So
Wasted away in the back door.
blew out his blew out his flip flops, stepping on pop tap, cut his heel, had to cruise in the back door to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
All right, so we have MC5, who we've talked about before.
Yeah, MC5 is this is the only way they're ever getting MC5 in. This is the correct way.
Thankfully.
This is what the musical excellence is meant for. A band like MC5 who is in relative obscurity. You've put them up 6 times already. They are hugely important in the development of music, and you just cannot get them in. This is what this category is for.
All right, so going back to somebody you mentioned before, Iggy Pop. I mean, they're already in. He's already in with the Stooges,
Right.
but like the Buzzcocks.
I mean, the Bad Brains were up at one point.
Bad Brains, X.
That's still a weird nomination to me.
Probably to them too.
The Replacements were up that one time.
Yeah.
New York Dolls might be somebody.
Yes. Sorry, that's
way.
what I was trying to think of. Yeah, the New York Dolls. This is probably like huge for them because they've been nominated before twice,
3 times.
3 times. Okay, yeah. So like this helps them. this is the band I'm the most happiest for.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
this is what it makes the most sense for. I really do.
Yeah, no, this there are two of the MC5, and there's one other we're going to talk about that I'm also very happy for. Um, but I mean, it's just sad that Wayne Kramer isn't here for MC5.
Mhm.
Um,
Is
Passed
there,
away
is there any
a couple months ago.
is there anyone left who's alive?
Hold on. Mm,
I
Wayne Kramer. Dennis Thompson is the only person listed as a member. Um, so Wayne Kramer died in 2024. Fred Sonic Smith died in 94. Rob Tyner in 91. Michael Davis in 2022.
mm,
So, I mean, basically all the, yeah, Dennis Thompson is the only one remaining.
okay.
So,
All right. So we have Dionne Warwick, who we talked about a little bit.
and again, it's someone else who they should, if you're going to get Dionne Warwick in the other way, this is where you get Dionne Warwick in.
I read something where she said that Burt Bacharach should get in.
Yes, she was a big thing on Burke Backrack. She said, if I'm in, then the person who wrote a lot of my songs should be
I can't disagree with that.
in. Nope. So, yeah, Dionne Warwick is absolutely deserving. So,
And a name I wasn't that familiar with, but I'm glad I was. Norman Whitfield. Worked with Barry Gordy, pretty much the architect of psychedelic soul.
yep. Another one who is a good way to get in. He produced basically all of the Temptations music.
Yeah.
So Money, That's What I Want is his. Um, so, and of course, I Heard Through the Grapevine is his.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, just another person who, and the Armin Erdingen Award when we get there in a second, another person from Motown who I'm very like any Motown people who were influential who are left, we need to just get them in. There are so
Yeah.
few
Yeah.
left at this
So they also had the Musical Influence Award.
point.
Uh, Alexis Corner, I was not familiar with him at all.
Okay, so here can I just here's my problem.
Go ahead. Yeah.
And again, the who cares about the Rock Hall podcast? I keep bringing them up, but they did a very good job with this. Alexis Corner and John Mayall. Okay, so Alexis Corner is or was, excuse me, the founding father of British blues. John Mayall is the godfather of British blues. Do we really need both British blues people in at the exact same time? And I know, like,
John alive.
Johnny's 90. He is alive.
Okay, so do you think that this is what I thought? Uh, did they say, okay, John, you're going in? Wait, I can't go in without.
Who knows? But this is why I was joking that Eric Clapton was in charge of this category. So, first of all, there is no British blues. It's just people from Britain playing music from the US. So it's weird. Like I have no trouble getting John Mayall in, but Alexis Corner has been dead since 1984.
I never heard of them.
Again, if you want to put, there are already 15 people other than Alexis Corner. Save him for another year. We don't need both the founding father and the godfather of British blues in the same year. It's just weird.
Who's the stepfather of British blues? Let's put him in too.
Well, the crazy drunk uncle of British blues is Eric Clapton. So,
Let me tell you something about racism.
yeah, Jamaicans, go back to Jamaica. We don't want you here. Like, who's ever been racist against Jamaicans other than him?
Eric Clapton.
Like, Jamaica is the Ireland of the Caribbean. Like they're just the people who like to like.
Let me tell you about sort of I shot the sheriff. I could do it better.
So anyway,
And I
but
did kill the deputy.
let's get to the really big name in this.
Big Mama Thornton.
Finally, Big Mama Thornton.
Evan, I thought she was already in. And this is what I do for kind of a living, sort of, kind of.
Yeah.
But like, I legit thought she was already there.
Like this is the senior category, if there is one, in terms of like the roots of rock and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Big Mama Thornton wrote Hound Dog. Okay. She's the first person. She wrote it. She performed it. She's like, she is the basis for R&B and Elvis and all the stuff that happened in the 50s is a direct line out of Big Mama Thornton. And the fact it took them until 2024 from 1986, I mean, maybe they didn't get to her in 86, whatever, but sometime in the 90s. This is someone who should have been in 30 plus years ago at this point.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And most people thought already was. Like it's ridiculous it took her this long. Thank you for getting this right.
The last one is Suzanne DePace. I'm not that familiar with her.
She's awesome. And they called her Susan DePace, by the way, on the thing. So Suzanne DePace. No, not you, on American Idol.
Well, me too. I got it wrong.
So she's still alive. She's 77, although Wikipedia lists her as being born in 1946 or 1947 or 1948, which is hilarious. But she is in many ways thought to be responsible for the discovery of both the Temptations and the Jackson 5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So she started out in the Cheetah nightclub in New York City, was friends with Cindy Birdsong, who replaced Florence Ballard in Supreme, and started working with Berry Gordy. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff. You just go like through all of her stuff. There are 2 Harvard Business School case studies about her and the way she ran her business. She also was involved with Sister Sister, the TV show, and Lady Sings the Blues. So again,
Lady Sings the Blues, Sister Sister. Come on, man.
I know. I'm just saying the other things she was involved.
Okay, yeah.
But she is a very, very important person in exactly what the art department there to do forward. Someone who's had a lot of influence on the development of executives. It's an inspired choice. So even if I wasn't sure who she was, I had to go look her up. I'm like, who is this person? I'm like, oh, yeah, she deserves being there.
Kind of like when you do the obits, it's like, but what else did they do?
Yeah, exactly. So she's Annie Leibovitz also has a whole thing on her too, a whole series on Suzanne DePace with her photography. So yeah, very good person. I'm glad she's in. No complaints.
Cool. So obviously I'm not doing the elevator because we sort of like did that as we're going. Who did we lose in the last week?
Well, should we do the other hall that we need to talk about quickly?
Oh, sorry. Yes, my bad. Yeah, because there was the Premier League Hall of Fame, and that is, you're the soccer guy, so
I am the soccer guy.
You're the soccer guy.
So 2 of these names should be people you know fairly well, and the third one has a name that sounds like other people you know, but probably don't know as well. So just a little bit on the Premier League Hall of Fame. It's been around now only since 2001. So this is the 4th class. So the first class had Alan Shearer, Thierry Henry, Eric Cantona, Roy Keane, David Beckham, Dennis Bergkamp, Frank Lampard, and Steven Gerrard. Second one, it had another 8-pack, Patrick Vieira, Wayne Rooney, Ian Wright, Peter Schmeichel, Paul Scholes, Didier Drogba, Vincent Kompany, and Sergio Aguero. And then last year we had 5. First, Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger, Rio Ferdinand, Peter Cech, and Tony Adams. So this is the smallest class we've had with 3. They've kind of gotten all the big names out of the way. I feel like we'll have 3 to 5 going forward at this point. So the first of these I want to go through is, I guess, the less known of the folks is Andrew Cole, or Andy Cole. Played mostly, well, he played all over the place, but he played mostly Newcastle. He played Manchester United, Bristol City, Blackburn, Fulham, Man City, Portsmouth, Sunderland, Nottingham Forest. He was a striker. Also played 15, got 15 caps for the English national team. Scored a career 229 goals, including 93 with Man U, in 509 total appearances. So the lesser known name, but still somebody very, very deserving. Next up is Ashley Cole, no relation to Andrew Cole. Ashley spent most of his time with only 2 teams. And those teams were Arsenal and Chelsea. So he totaled 156 appearances with Arsenal, 229 with Chelsea. He was a defender, 107 caps with England. So England doesn't have that many guys in the Century Club. By the way, you know what country has the most people who play at least 100 games for their team?
What countries had?
Yeah, what country has the most 100 capped players on the national team?
Germany?
US by a lot.
Oh, okay.
We don't have that many good people, so they have to keep playing. Ashley Cole also played 89 games with the LA Galaxy towards the end of his career. But yeah, total of 508 games. But between Arsenal, he also was on loan to Crystal Palace for a little bit. But again, someone absolutely who you would expect to be in to here. And of course, one of the biggest names in the history of football, and one of the more, how do I want to describe him?
Yeah, when I was doing the write-up, interesting.
Controversial players.
There you go. Yeah.
Also, he's younger than me, which I don't like. But John Terry, who played 492 games for Chelsea, also an additional 32 at the end of his career for Aston Villa. 42 goals, defender, has 78, only 78 caps for England, which is telling you something. He's a center back, defender of the year 3 times in 2005, 2008, 2009. Was in the World 11 and 5 consecutive seasons from 2005 to 2009, meaning one of the best 11 players in the world. But also kind of an asshole, at least on the pitch. But yeah, absolutely first ballot. They had a thing on him on the Premier League they interview all these guys after they get elected, and his says, "I went into matches thinking that nobody could beat me," and that seems about right. Captain, leader, legend. But yeah, he's the only player who's been on all 5 of Chelsea's Premier League title teams. So, and his 41 goals are the most ever by a defender in the Premier League. So, okay. Like it's a very good class. I have no complaints.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we'll close off. Do you have a good, bad, ugly, or are we just
going? No, we've gone long enough. We'll do this and then get out of here. We could save good, bad, and ugly. I want to know. I did say this. I'll just say this very quickly. You're very lucky to be a Saints fan. In that, 2 of the 4 teams in your division are absolutely moronic.
Carolina and who?
The Carolina Panthers may be the worst run franchise in all of sports in North America.
Okay.
But close behind, the Atlanta Football Falcons.
What they do? Okay, because
who
I
didn't
haven't watched the draft.
who
That's what I've
didn't
already heard.
sign Bill Belichick because they were worried he would like challenge them. First off, uh, had the 8th pick in the draft. Now this offseason, what's the main thing they did? They went and got Kirk Cousins and signed him to a 5-year or 4-year deal with $100 million.
They drafted a quarterback.
With the 8th pick in the draft, not your right, your rival Atlanta Falcons selected Michael Penix Jr., who's not only a quarterback, but the oldest quarterback in the draft.
Was Chris Winkie not available?
So I'll say this: I like Michael Penix Jr. I think he's a pretty good college quarterback.
I'm in the Pac Northwest, so yeah.
He'll be 24 by the time the season starts, and they can't get out of Cousins' contract without massive penalties until 2027 at the earliest. So in 2027,
sorry,
in 2027, he'll be getting maybe his first shot at this, and he'll be 27 years old. What are they doing? I have no trouble with them drafting a quarterback. I get them needing a backup quarterback and everything like that. I have no problem with that. But with the 8th pick in the draft, with a team as bad as the Falcons has been the last few years, get somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. They drafted a running back in the top 10.
I want to put my Saints gear on really quick now. But anyway,
God, it was like everybody was like, "What are the hell are they doing?" Everyone's like, "Oh, they got to be making a trade with the Raiders here," and so everyone's looking for the Raiders pick, and then the Raiders picked a tight end, which is like the one thing that the Falcons don't need. So I don't even know what to say here. Not only did they get a quarterback, they got the 6th quarterback at the 8th pick.
Okay, this is the moment that where like when I had my Boca Juniors.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah. He had. I'm a huge River Plate fan, and he showed up just not knowing anything. At one point, he was just wearing different jerseys he had, and he showed
this
up.
will mean only something to Evan and I, but
yeah, and I went like crazy about it. He had no way of knowing. Yeah, this is. I don't have any idea what the Atlanta Falcons are doing, but the weird thing is, neither do they. That is one of the worst run franchises I've ever seen in my entire life. And I've been to multiple Washington Wizards games. So.
Oh God. Well, speaking of dead franchises, who's dead?
The Arizona Coyotes moving to Salt Lake City in the middle of the night. Although somebody made the joke that Salt Lake City has a lot of mining, but they can't be the miners because we can't have the miners play the Predators.
There you go. Nice.
So our first, we'll start with the Beige Mistress. Took from us Georgie Tatar at the age of 71, 11 appearances, the Hungarian national team in soccer, scoring 5 goals, and 272 appearances for, Lord help me in pronouncing this, Győri, D-I-O with an accent over it, S-G-Y-O with an umlaut over it, R-I. So I can't even begin. But yeah, he passed away at the age of 71.
Yeah, I'm German. I don't know what that damn umlaut does.
I understand what it does. I don't understand what it does in Hungarian, which is an alien language. It sounds nothing like, if you're in Eastern Europe, you're like, oh, I get it. That's, I've heard some German. I get the Czech. I get Serbo-Croatian, Polish, Ukrainian. They all sorts of whatever. Hungarian is its own weird freaking thing. Anyway, also passing away Interestingly, Terry Anderson, one of the U.S. hostages who was taken by Hamas back in the 1985 through 91, spent 6 years of captivity in Lebanon, uh, passed away at the age of 76. I'm sorry, not his Hamas,
Yeah, I
Hezbollah.
remember that.
Sorry, not Hamas, Hezbollah. My bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
So,
I remember that. Yeah.
yeah, so he was 76. Also passing away, a big name for me, Terry Carter, the actor, passed away at the age of 95. I would say, did you ever watch KIDS? Was that something you had up there?
No, no.
It was
I
like
don't
a, it
know
was
what
like
that
a,
is.
it was like a TV show for dealing with bullies and stuff in the 80s. It was really good. He was part of that. He was also um, may have been the first ever African American news broadcaster in the United States. He was the weekend news broadcaster from 1965 to 1968 for WBZ in Boston. So I can't imagine that many African American newscasters in 65. Also, the only black actor in Combat. Did you ever see Combat?
I've heard of it, but I never
It's
saw it.
it's a Vic Morrow thing from the 60s.
Mhm.
That show is fantastic, and I don't know about it because I had to watch Nick at Night a lot with my great aunt. I lived with her, and also Colonel Ty in Battlestar Galactica. So
Okay, okay, that I know.
Joe Broadhurst and McLeod.
Well, no, no,
Um,
no. You had me at Battlestar Galactica, the original.
yeah,
Colonel
there you
Ty.
go.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was he spent 7 years on McLeod as Joe Broadhurst. Also played opposite Pam Grier in Foxy Brown.
Mm.
So, but he one of my favorite actors. Every time he showed up, I was very excited. Terry Carter was 95.
Mm.
Also passed away from Canada. Uh, Hockey Night in Canada and Hockey Hall of Famer Bob Cole
Cool.
passed away at
Yep.
the age of 90. I'll
Mhm.
let you take this one over.
No, just iconic voice for a lot of us.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
cool. Yeah, so it said that he became interested in announcing hockey when he blew out his knee and had to spend 6 months in the hospital as a child from playing soccer. So he listened to Foster Hewitt calling games on the radio and decided to practice while he was stuck in the bed, become a sports announcer. So in 1956, at the age of 23, he walked to Hewitt's office and presented him with an audition tape. And Hewitt surprisingly listened to his tape and talked to him for 2 hours, which really was what launched him on his career. But yeah, he was active from 69 to 2019. So 50 years with Hockey Night in Canada.
So, you ever heard when Terry Carter went to with Dennis Weaver to the Playboy Mansion?
I'm afraid. No.
No, true story, true story. So, like, they hung out there, and it was a fun night. So, like early '70s, and there was Mick Jagger, and they were talking to each other, and it's like, and I was like, hey, you're Dennis Weaver. Yeah, Dennis Weaver. So, they were meeting each other, and it was the first time they ever met. Well, later on, they're both doing a bunch of drugs and shit or whatnot, and
The Rolling Stones, never.
this is a true story. A
Okay.
true story. I'm not making this up.
Okay.
So, Mick goes into the bathroom, and there he sees like there was Hugh Hefner, because obviously he's there, and there's Hugh
Mhm.
Hefner. He's plowing Dennis Weaver, like boom, 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 and he says like, hey, you get off of Mick Cloud.
I knew it was getting there. You kept saying it. I was just waiting for the terrible punchline. So,
True story.
yeah, very true story. Um,
That's where I was going with that.
I did not. I knew it was going somewhere bad, but I knew there's no way you knew this story. So, um, uh,
My favorite joke of all time.
I'm glad. Um, uh, so back to the dead people. Ed Chadwick, who played for the Maple Leafs and Bruins from 52 to 68, passed away at the age of 90. Also, won 5 Stanley Cup rings
Not
as
with
a
the
scout for
Leafs.
the Oilers. What?
Not with the Leafs.
No, as a scout for the Oilers. His
Okay.
name appears on the Stanley Cup in 85, 87, and 90. So he passed away at the age of 90. And someone from ESPN, I remember Stump the Schwab.
Yeah, yeah, I do.
Howie Schwab died,
61, 62?
63.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He had a heart attack in a hospital out of Ventura, Florida at the age of 63. He'd been not doing well. There's a tribute to him from Dick Vitale, who I met last summer, who's also not doing that great, can't talk at all. Talk about how sad he was.
Dick Vitale can't talk now?
Mhm.
Oh, man.
No. He actually said something to me. He was told not to talk. I went to introduce myself to Dick Vitale because when else am I going to do that?
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, they gave him a special award. He's like, I didn't know they were going to do that. And I'm like, don't talk. Like, I appreciate the fact you're talking to me right now, but
Yeah.
your daughter's going to kill me. So shut up.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
His daughter's high up in the athletics department at Notre Dame. But yeah, Howie Schwab was only 63 years old. So from tennis, Brian Tobin, captain of the Australian team that won the 64 Federation Cup. He passed away at the age of 93. Also a member of the International Tennis Hall of Fame, more for being the president of the ITF from 91 to 99, I'd say, than his playing career. So from the world of poker, Hall of Fame poker player Crandall Addington passed away at the age of 85. Just looked like he belonged as an extra on Dallas. Big cowboy hat. Looked like Santa Claus in a cowboy hat. Let's put it that way.
Poker? I didn't even know her.
Yeah, I figured that was coming too. But he was 85 years old. From football, Bill Tobin passed away, played for the Oilers and Edmonton Eskimos, but probably best known as general manager of the Bears and the Colts.
Yeah.
And he was also director of player personnel for the Lions. He passed away at the age of 83. Brother of former NFL coach Vince Tobin. So, also passing away, Arthur Whittington, member of the Super Bowl 15 champion Oakland Raiders. He passed away at the age of 68. And I guess the biggest person from football anyway was Roman Gabriel, member of the College Football Hall of Fame. Passed away at the age of 83. Won the MVP in 1969. First quarterback of Filipino American descent. First pick in the AFL draft in 62. Second pick in the NFL draft in 62. But he played with the Rams from 62 to 72 and the Eagles from 73 to 77.
Yeah, incredible player. I'm not really sure what more we can sort of like say about him.
I mean, I have more stats.
Yeah.
First team All-Pro in 69, second team All-Pro 67, 68, comeback player of the year in 73, four-time Pro Bowler, passing yards leader in 73, two-time touchdowns leader in 69, 73, won the Burt Bell Award in 69. And then
I mean,
members retired in NC State, first team All-American twice, two-time ACC player of the year. So,
when I think of Gabriel, I think of his second, not really second half, because it really wasn't a half. It was like that second quarter or the last quarter of his career with the Eagles, where you see a lot of players who they get traded, or especially quarterbacks, where they're what are they going to do at that point in their career? And Gabriel sort of like made a Hall of Fame case,
Mhm.
I think, in Philadelphia, which he wouldn't have had if you just look at his Los Angeles career at that point. To me,
Mhm.
unfortunately, he did not make the Hall of Fame. I know our good friend Vinny Espinosa was really upset about his passing, and Vinny talked to a lot of people who were trying to get Roman into the Hall of Fame. Uh,
Mhm.
as for how much Roman wanted that, I don't know. I know that just in speaking with some people who are related to that, I think of when I spoke to I'm misremembering is the name. Ah, crap. I can't believe I'm blanking here. Uh, Green Bay Packers offensive lineman.
From when?
Uh, the 60s.
Hall of Famer.
Well, he eventually became a Hall of Famer. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I know who you're talking about too, but keep talking.
Yeah. Okay.
Come to me.
So, long story short, I spoke with his daughter,
Mhm.
and then I got to speak with him, and you know, it was more important to the family than it was to the actual player.
Mhm.
Kramer, Jerry Kramer.
Gary Kramer. Yeah, I couldn't think.
They, God damn it, I can't. Spoke with him and I blanked on his name. It's embarrassing, but
It happens.
yeah, yeah, happens to me a lot. So it's unfortunate that he didn't get there. I don't know that Roman is a Hall of Famer. He's close to me.
Mhm.
Like I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think he gets in. He's I think just short to me.
Yeah,
So, um, but yeah, he was a very very good quarterback with a high completion percentage, particularly for the era,
right. Yeah,
and way more touchdowns and interceptions, which also was rare for the era.
yeah. That era, that's huge. Absolutely.
No, just under 30,000 yards. Like his numbers now just don't look good compared to where everything has gone. So I think it's a tough, tough road.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't think we'll see him getting in. But
Uh,
heck of a
was
he's
he
elected
ever a
he was
finalist?
elected to the Hall of Very Good in 2013. So
Okay. Was he ever a finalist? I don't recall. I don't think
I
so.
don't think
No.
so. No.
No? Okay.
I mean, I can double check that now, but I'm 97% sure
Hmm.
it's that.
He
No.
probably wasn't. Yeah.
Give me one second. I'll just do a search for Gabriel on the Hall page. Find Gabriel. Hold on. I think that's screwed up. Yeah. Gabriel. No Roman Gabriel on here. So
Okay. Mhm.
anyway. All right. Moving to baseball. A member of the 2004 curse-breaking Red Sox, second member, has died within a year. So lost Tim Wakefield earlier this year or earlier last year. His wife died shortly thereafter, which was awful.
Mm.
David McCarty, the backup first baseman,
Oh,
passed away at the age of 54 following a cardiac event. Um, so yeah, so he was also an analyst on Nesson
mhm.
um, in 2008 season. So he was released in 2005 after the Red Sox signed John Olerud, which was led to the famous statement by then Red Sox Ricky Henderson that he reminded him of somebody else who also played first base with a batting helmet on, not remembering that Ricky had played with John Olerud in
Yeah, that
Toronto.
was me. Oh,
So, yeah, but David McCarty was only 54.
yeah.
All right, everyone else I have here is for music. So we're going to start with, speaking of American Idol, Mandisa passed away at the age of 47
And geez,
from
uh,
the fourth season American Idol, which I saw her name. I'm like, oh, I actually know who that is because there was a time
that was an original year, right?
yeah, she was way back in 2004.
Oh,
Um,
when she died,
so
I remember her
they
because
opened it.
I
They
watched
had
that back
opened.
in the early. I watched that back when they when Simon got to do, well, be an asshole.
Yeah. Simon Cowell, who folks want to disembowel, he opens his mouth, though it says something foul. That's
It
the
was funny.
that is the rapping genius of Weird Al Yankovic right there. But Mandisa was found dead in her home at the age of 47, and there is an investigation into her death. So
Damn.
this weekend, American Idol is going to pay tribute to her during the episode. So, but she was only 47 years old. Was nominated, won a Grammy in 2014 for Best Contemporary Christian Music Album. So,
Were we nominated for that too?
we lost out to Faith Plus One. So,
well done. You are
thank
awesome,
you.
buddy.
That deep cut into South Park for those guys.
Holy shit!
With that one.
I threw you like a low curve, and you like smashed it with a 110 mile per hour. That was awesome. Well done.
Thank you. It's the problem is my interpreter bet on whether I was going to hit it or not.
2 in a row. Holy crap.
Passing away also, Alex Hasselev, half of the Limelighters, which is American folk music group. Very well known. He was 91 years old. Singer, guitar player, and played the 5-string banjo instead of the 6-string banjo, which is more common.
I only mastered the 2.
That's a challenge. Also passing away, Robert Lee Romero, better known as Chan Romero, best known for his song "The Hippie Hippie Shake."
Oh, I know that one.
From 1959. Born in Billings, Montana, of Spanish and Apache descent. His mother was a mixture of Mexican, Cherokee, and Irish. But he was 82 years old. He had a career from 59 through 66.
Mexican, Spanish, and Apache, which means he's a drunk.
I can't speak to that. I will say that he is the first Latino inducted to the Rockabilly Hall of Fame, which is interesting. So, but yeah, he was 82 years old. Then also passed away Michael Kuskuna, the discographer of Blue Note Records, jazz producer, also co-founded Mosaic Records. He basically did the re-releases of artists like Thelonious Monk, Miles Davis, Nat King Cole, Tina Brooks, things like that. Won 3 Grammy Awards for his releases. So he passed away at the age of 75. And then the 2 biggest names we lost in music this week. We'll start with both members of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Let's start with Mike Pinder, who passed away yesterday. The original keyboard player of Moody Blues. Inducted with them when they got in. Left the group following their 9th album, Octave, in 1978. Known for his technical contributions to rock music, including the Mellotron. And is a member of he was the last surviving of the group's original 5 members of the Moody Blues.
Yeah, another one, sort of like going back to what we talked about earlier, another one and done. Like nominated eventually, and then finally getting in.
Yeah, he'd been suffering from dementia for years, apparently.
Oh, so brutal.
Yeah, so he was 82 years old. And finally, the one that meant the most to me, honestly, who passed away this week, original member of the Allman Brothers band, Dickie Betts, passed away at the age of 80. I'd say best known, in my opinion, for Jessica, the instrumental. Also did In Memory of Elizabeth Reed is also his. But just a incredibly talented musician.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Jessica. That's one of my favorite instrumentals ever.
Yeah, and it's fantastic. But there's now only one original member of the Allman Brothers left, Jimo, or Jai Johansson is the only one left. But he passed away from Dickie Betts passed away from cancer and COPD, which is honestly the most likely way anyone has died from the rock and roll stuff since
I'm sorry,
since
COPD?
COPD.
What's up?
It's it's a lung disease often associated with smoking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the most least surprising cause of death I've heard since Jimmy Buffett died of skin cancer. So yeah, I mean, that man, incredibly talented, also a heck of a smoker. But 80 years old, not bad for those guys where they came from. So,
Yeah.
and one of the great guitarists of rock history.
Absolutely.
So, and just one last thing I do want to say, I did want to do one other thing just for, I guess, good, bad, and ugly, just quickly. A couple things I want to mention about the first pick of the WNBA draft. I sent you something earlier.
Yes, you did.
That was
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous. I just want to bring it up quickly. Let me just make sure I have the actual thing here. Caitlin Clark had two crazy things happen to her. First, she became the first two-time winner ever of the James E. Sullivan Award. Now, the James E. Sullivan Award may not be something that a lot of people are that familiar with. I became very familiar with it when we had our class here of
Right. Yeah.
Hall of Fame.
You and me both. But yeah.
But the award's been around since 1930, and it gives the award to the greatest amateur athlete.
Sure. At this point, but yeah.
Right, I know, but like someone who's not technically a professional person. So previous winners include Bobby Jones, Don Budge, Bob Matthias, Dick Button, Pat McCormick, who is nominated, someone we can get onto the list this year, Rayford Johnson, Wilma Rudolph, Bill Bradley, Jim Ryan, who's also on that list, Debbie Meyer, Mark Spitz, Bill Walton, Tracy Calkins, Eric Hayden, Carl Lewis, Mary Decker, Edwin Moses, Greg Louganis, Joan Benoit, Jackie Joyner-Kersee, Florence Griffith Joyner, Jim Abbott, Janet Evans, Mike Powell, Bonnie Blair, Dan Jansen, Charlie Ward, which is kind of funny when you look at everybody else. Bruce Baumgartner, Michael Johnson, Peyton Manning, Shamika Holdsclaw, Rulon Gardner, Michelle Kwan, Michael Phelps, also JJ Redick and Tim Tebow, also kind of funny. Sean Johnson, Evan Lysacek, Missy Franklin, Ezekiel Elliott. Like it's a pretty good list. Simone Biles. It's a pretty good list of people here. Sabrina Ionescu, who was the #1 pick of the WNBA draft a few years ago. Caitlin Clark became the first person ever to win this twice. Mm-hmm. All those people have only ever won it once. She became the first person to win it twice, which is kind of incredible. But more incredible than that for me is her new Indiana Fever jersey that she just got drafted last week. Since she's been drafted, has outsold every single jersey of the Dallas Cowboys over the last year. All of the jerseys for the Cowboys, America's team, the most popular franchise in football, right, has fewer combined than Caitlin Clark had sold in the last week for her WNBA team.
Is that
crazy?
But did they include Ryan Leaf's retro jersey?
I mean, it's of course it's the #3 song.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Sorry, it's not. It's #2. It was going to be #1, but disappointingly.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry.
You sent that to me, and then I responded because now living in Seattle, I told my wife that we're gonna go see a WNBA game, and it's 10 times as much.
Oh yeah, for her game.
Yeah, to go see Indiana than any other game.
It was like last year. I had the opportunity to buy tickets for when Miami came here for the MLS. There were rumors that
yeah.
There were rumors that Messi was going to sign, but he hadn't yet. And it was the same day as my niece's birthday, which is the only reason I didn't buy it. And then he went there, and I could have bought tickets for $15. And I went back and checked after Messi signed, and the cheapest ticket for an MLS game that Messi may or may not have played in was $375 for the $15 seats. Yeah. Should have bought them just and sold them. mean, what if I bought them and didn't go, I'm out $30 or plus the Ticketmaster fees. So yeah, but crazy. When something like that happens, it's just absolutely crazy. So
Absolutely. So I guess with that, the Hall of Fame show is over. Check out all the other things that we do here. We are doing something very, very big. Evan is going to be sending out the ballots to our committee.
mhm.
Actually, I'll let you sort of like explain that.
Yeah, so we took us some time. We had to get our logo redone and a few other
Yeah.
things. And I was hoping to send them out this weekend, but of all things, the post office is the one who caused the problem here. But we're going to send them out probably Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Ballots out to our committee, plus some
Mhm.
other people who we'd like on the committee. With the 125 names of athletes they could vote for. They're going to vote for 25 of them. And those
Yeah. To
uh,
replace those who got in.
replace those who got in.
Mhm.
And then if we have like 27 and whatever it is, we'll get the 27, whatever it ends up
Yeah.
being. But the ballot, just to give you an idea, the way we do this, in order to be eligible, you had to have been an American citizen, so meaning born here, or someone who came to the United States, changed nationalities and represented, or became a citizen and represented the United States
Yeah.
internationally. So,
Yeah.
for
I think
example,
Martina Navratilova, who got in our first class,
right,
or Hakeem Olajuwon.
who's eligible this time for the first
Yeah.
time. Others include Mario Andretti as actually another person
Yeah.
who,
Or in the future, Joel Embiid.
right, Joel Embiid would be another one. But just to give you an idea, you also have to be at least 50 at the
Mhm.
time we do the have to be at least 50 at the time we do the vote. So that means you had to be born in 1973 or before. So we
Older
did
than me.
that is correct. So we did this the first time.
Yeah.
We started this in 2019. We got everything together. We didn't really get our act together until 2021 because it took a lot of background work.
Yeah, because we're transparent. If we fuck up, we're going to tell you we fucked up.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But so
Tony
is any
Tomahawk or Hawk
so,
Tony.
so before it was anyone born 1970 or before, but because
Yeah.
it took us a little bit of time, that gets us up to 73. So the following people are the first time eligibles here. Just by the way, the four people we had left over from 1970 who didn't get in, just to give you the idea of the quality of the people, Andre Agassi, Don Staley, Phil Mickelson, and Jim Courier are the four people on here from 1970. That
Big.
is a strong list of athletes. But from 71, we have Julie Foudy, Lisa Fernandez, who's America's probably greatest softball player, Cheryl Swoops, Peekaboo Street, Tony Stewart, Cami Granado, Christy Yamaguchi, Jeff Gordon, Pete Sampras, Roland Gardner, Janet Evans, Sugar Shane Mosley, Jeremy McGrath, and the third winning jockey of all time, John R. Velazquez. And that's his 71.
Mm-hmm.
72 gives us Kelly Slater, Shaquille O'Neal, Mia Hamm, Lisa Leslie, Summer Sanders, David Duval for 72. And we have only 5 for 73. Another one who changed countries, Monica Seles, who competed for the U.S., Oscar De La Hoya, Amy Van Dyken, Jenny Thompson, and Rebecca Lobo. So Rebecca Lobo is now the youngest person you can vote for. But we're going to have them. We have 125 people. The oldest person on this list, by the way, is born in 1877. Eddie Collins and then Christy Mathewson, born in 1880. But we have archers, we have shooters, we have bull riders, baseball, football, hockey, swimming, golf, rowing, wrestling, boxing. We have golfers. I mean, we have a wide variety of sports here for them to vote on. And we will have hopefully all of them back by May 31st. So we get everything together in time to get it out for you, the public, to vote. And with our second class going to be announced on November 1st.
Yeah, and the voting body that we have, it's a pretty solid. It's really good. We've got some sports writers from across the country. We have Olympians, Olympic medalists.
Yes, multiple medalists.
Yeah, 7-time Pro Bowler.
Mm-hmm.
So like we've got, as Evan and I have always joked, we want everyone who is sort of like part of this to be more knowledgeable than us.
100%. We want to be the worst people on this committee. So
Not hard, but anyway. So I guess with that, wherever you are or wherever it may be, make this a phenomenal day because it never comes again.
take care, everybody. All right.